I know you're Rebel Media and you're not going to care about this, but 12 million Canadians, 12 million Canadians are going to benefit from dental care. You know, you may one day have children. This is going to be huge for them. This is a massive success.
I'm talking about the civil liberties of Canadians. If it is found that Justin Trudeau trampled the civil liberties of Canadians unjustifiably, will you push for Jack Mead to stop supporting him?
Will you ask the Conservatives why they voted against dental care?
Do you want me to ask that?
Why did the Conservatives vote against dental care?
Hey folks, William Diaz here with Rebel News, currently in Ottawa, as I've been for the past 2 weeks and a half now with our great Rebel News team here. And while we all know that the Trucker Commission is happening right now, the Emergencies Act Inquiry to investigate Justin Trudeau's use of the Emergencies Act on the peaceful protesters that traveled from all across the country to protest the federal government's vaccine mandates. And while on October 27th, we saw a parliamentary hearing taking place at night, organized by Parliament, by the politicians, including Jim Watson, Mathieu Fleury, Steve Kanellakos, and Kim Ayotte. They were all talking about the invocation of the Emergencies Act and the way the Ottawa Police Services and the OPP at the same time responded to the Freedom Convoy. Take a look at some of the excerpts of what we saw in that hearing.
How did you feel when you saw some members of parliament, including now the leader of the opposition, going out there buying coffee and taking photos with people who were disturbing the lives of the community and shut down the city?
The best way to describe that behavior is disrespectful to the people of Ottawa, particularly since the now leader of the opposition is an MP from Ottawa. So a lot of his constituents would have been individuals who lived in his ward and worked downtown, and much of downtown was shut down. We just got out of the lockdown as a result of COVID-19, and then the stores are finally starting to open, the restaurants are starting to open, and then there's another lockdown caused by the convoy. So it was not helpful at all to be mugging with selfie sticks and taking pictures with the convoy. Our city was hurting, and we needed some empathy and sympathy and not these kind of tactics.
So while right after the hearing ended, myself and Kian Simone went straight up to Parliament Hill, and we waited for a little bit to see some politicians come out. We caught NDP MP from Edmonton, Blake Desjarle, as he was walking out of West Block, and let me say he was more feisty than Omar Alghabra. Take a look at how our exchange went. Mr. Desjarle, if it is found that the Trudeau cabinet used the Emergencies Act unjustifiably, will you push
dental care? Come on, that's huge for Canadians. Dental care is massive, and I know you're Rebel Media and you're not going to care about this, but 12 million Canadians, 12 million Canadians are going to benefit from dental care. You know, you may one day have children. This is going to be huge for them. This is a massive success.
Can you
for everybody, right? Like, this is huge. Like, come on. You got to be able to realize how massive this is in the vote tonight. And you're talking about something else.
I'm talking about the civil liberties.
Just voted on dental care.
I'm talking about the civil liberties of Canadians, sir.
This is the biggest thing. This is the biggest
thing. I think that you'll see what happens there.
Sure, I'm talking about the civil liberties of Canadians. If it is found that Justin Trudeau trampled the civil liberties of Canadians unjustifiably, will you push for Jack Mead to stop supporting him?
Will you ask the Conservatives why they voted against dental care?
Do you want me to ask that?
Why did the Conservatives vote against dental care?
I asked them that. You can go on Rebel News. I asked them that.
You didn't ask them that.
I swear that I asked them that. Yeah, Ryan Williams spoke to me about it.
I'm really happy that you asked that, actually.
Yeah. So do you want to answer the question?
Sorry?
William Diaz.
William Diaz. Well, William, I'm really excited about dental care for Canadians. And that's massive, you know? And I defeated actually a member of the Conservative Party who is actually a Rebel Media person. And so you're not very non-partisan.
Oh, yeah.
And I will always defend Canadians.
So
their rights
how will paying
and
Canadians,
their liberties.
How would the bill?
That's all I'll have to say for tonight.
How will the bill?
I give you a lot of time.
Yeah, how will the?
I give you a lot of
You
time
haven't
tonight.
answered a single question though.
Okay, I will. Have a good night.
He's running. Have a good night, sir. Thank you for talking to me this time. Thanks for talking to me. So we heard Desjarle accuse me of never having spoken to the Conservative MPs about his bill on the so-called dental care plan that the NDP wants to impose on all Canadians from all across provinces. But I remember filming a video with Conservative MPs when I talk about that exact topic. He was shocked when I told him that. Take a look at some of what the MPs told me about the NDP's so-called dental care plan.
I don't think anybody has confidence in the federal government to organize any sort of program. They can't administer basic passport services. I don't think how they're going to roll out a dental care program, child care program. They're losing more and more confidence in their ability to actually do anything.
11 of the 13 provinces and territories here in Canada do have a dental program, and certainly, I mean, the cost of this dental program is going to be exorbitant. That doesn't mean that dental care is not important, but what we do understand is that those things, basic things that we have now, such as health care, this government is not doing well. They can't even get people a passport. How can we actually trust them to then implement a dental care program? It's impossible.
And then afterwards, I caught NDP MP Matthew Green and asked him about whether or not he would pressure Jack Mead-Singh to pull out his support for Justin Trudeau if it is found in the inquiry that Justin Trudeau used the Emergencies Act Inquiry unjustifiably. And well, I don't think he had a lot to say. Take a look at our exchange. Mr. Green. Mr. Green. Mr. Green. Sir, if it is found through the inquiry that Justin Trudeau invoked the Emergencies Act unjustifiably, will you push for Jack Mead to stop supporting him? If it is found that Justin Trudeau trampled the civil liberties of peaceful protesters unjustifiably, will you push for your leader to stop supporting him? No answer? The the NDP party used to be a party that valued civil liberties. Why did you stop doing that in favor of Big Pharma? Why doesn't the NDP support civil liberties anymore like they did in the past? You talk about bodily autonomy, you talk about abortion, which is the termination of a baby, of a human life. Why did you support this, but not civil liberties and the right to peacefully protest? I heard you talk a little bit more during the committee tonight. No response? Then afterwards, finally, I caught Liberal MP Desjarle Nagvi for Ottawa Centre here where the inquiry is taking place and asked him whether or not he supported his cabinet's decision to look at a plan that was given to them by the OPP, by Marcel Baudin, about how they could negotiate with the protesters instead of invoking the Emergencies Act, and that they threw away that plan and decided to invoke the Act anyway. Take a look at his response. Mr. Nagvi, we learned during the inquiry that prior to the Liberal cabinet invoking the Emergencies Act, the OPP sent a plan to negotiate with the protesters. Yet the Trudeau cabinet...
It's been covered in the committee. Thank you.
You what?
You can just hear the testimony in the committee. Thank you.
No, I'm asking you a question. So, do you support the cabinet that threw away a plan by the OPP to negotiate with the protesters and then invoke the Emergencies Act?
Public inquiry and joint committee do the work.
I want to know your opinion on the issue.
I'm participating in those committees and you hearing the testimony.
But what do you think of the cabinet disregarding an OPP plan to negotiate in favor of trampling the civil liberties of protesters here?
I'm not commenting until all the processes are done.
You're what?
I'm not commenting until all the process are done.
So just a reminder, folks, during the inquiry, we heard Marcel Baudin speak about the fact that, while he gave a plan to negotiate with the protesters to the Trudeau government, and right after he gave that plan, the Trudeau government still decided to invoke the Emergencies Act. Here's the mic drop moment that took place between Freedom Convoy lawyer Brendan Miller and Baudin at that time when we learned that revelation.
I understand this is an email from the Deputy Minister of Public Safety, Rob Stewart, to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in the third sentence on the top paragraph, it says, "We have a big meeting this afternoon. Well, this will be discussed, so I really need your input." Right?
Yes.
All right. Did you know that that meeting was at 3:30 p.m. and that it was with Cabinet and it was the incident response group of the political executive meeting and that your proposal was provided to them?
No.
Okay. It was. I can tell you that. And then they invoked the Emergencies Act. Thank you.
So there you have it, folks. Here's what took place on October 27th here in Ottawa. In addition to the Emergencies Act Inquiry, if you want to help us fund our journalism, please go to truckercommission.com. For Rebel News, this is William Diaz. Once again, we will be here in Ottawa for the next few weeks for a long time. If you want to help us fund our journalism, once again, please head on to truckercommission.com. That way we'll be able to bring you the other side of the story straight from Canada's national capital.